What up, fam? What up, fam? It's good, y'all. Feels good, right? Good, right? Yeah, I know it, dude. And without further ado, we broadcasting live from CA to M.
Oh, your hair looks cool, man.
Oh, because it's wet.
That's your natural curls?
Yeah.
Why don't you wear it like that ever?
Ugh. Because of the way my hair is cut, I can't have like these curls in the front and then like nothing in the back.
It looks awesome.
Oh, thank you.
What about with the bandana?
Oh, if I were a slave, maybe.
Or like your scarf? Shut up. No, that's racist. Oh my God, man. I was so proud of you of your one tweet that got like over 50 likes.
Oh, it's over 100 likes now.
Oh my God, man. That's awesome.
It's based on a true story like all my tweets are.
That's so tight. I just got the update, 107. I'm retweeting it. What's our hot topic? Nothing. Ain't nothing hot happening this week.
Nothing. The tea that I'm drinking is barely hot. It is tibio. How do you say tibio in English?
Like lukewarm.
It is lukewarm, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love huevos tibios.
Oh, me too.
That's my favorite breakfast.
That is my favorite breakfast, and I never have it anywhere outside of my own house. Like,
yeah, me either. I've never.
Like,
yeah.
You can't order that. You can't order that at a restaurant, at Denny's. Hey, let me get some huevos tibios.
Like, bitch, get out. I'm building a wall around this Denny's.
Moons over my hammy or get out.
Oh my God, man. I haven't had a moons over my hammy in years.
Since college, really.
I know.
That shit was legit, though. That saved my life so many times.
Oh, for real. The only thing that keeps popping up for me is this horrible story of this woman that committed suicide, who was like
a broadcast newscaster.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. Remember that story of that newscaster that committed suicide on air?
That's on the list.
It is?
Yeah, because also there's a really good movie. Well, the movie wasn't like really. It was fine. A good movie with Rebecca Hall.
Uh-huh.
Where she plays. I think her name was Christine. It's called Christine.
She does kind of look like her.
Yeah. That story is so fucking sad.
Why is Les Moonves trending?
Because he sexually harassed Sybil Shepherd. Sybil Shepherd was so bomb in her day.
Yeah.
She was beautiful. She still is.
Why is Adderall trending? Are these tailored for my life or what? Oh shit, ex-apprentice staffer says Donald Trump snorts Adderall and can't read.
That sounds about right.
Oh my God.
I believe it.
Somebody said Trump is abusing Adderall and still bad at his job.
Same though.
Shut up, man.
That was me in college.
Michael Cohen's jail sentence?
Ooh, yeah. Okay, let's do that. Because that's the biggest story of the week.
That's the biggest story. Damn. We are real ass reporters right here at the Drama Club, guys. Here's the breaking news. A week and 3 days later. We're the worst fucking journalists of all time.
Well, our show isn't every day, so sometimes you just gotta deal with this shit, y'all.
That's true, though.
So, breaking news from last week. Michael Cohen was sentenced to 3 years in prison for,
that's wild.
Among other things, campaign finance, law violations, and tax evasion, et cetera, et cetera. But the campaign finance law is the thing that we're most interested in because Señor Presidente is named as, what was he named in the indictment? Something like conspirator number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Michael Cohen gave an apology to the court for his involvement in the hush money scandal. That's like you said, that's the ticket right there.
Yeah, that's the ticket.
That's the one that's threatening Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the silencing of
Stormy Daniels
and another woman who said they had affairs with him.
Was the other one, is her name like Catherine McDougal or like Katie McDougal?
She's the Victoria's Secret model, or
she's
the
Playboy? Playboy playmate. I want to say, was she on Girls Next Door?
Shut up, May. Was she? Karen McDougal. She was in an episode of Girls Next Door. Huh.
You know what episode I'm thinking of? And this might not be right, but is it the one where they go to Las Vegas? Is she like, she's one of the homegirls. She's like Kendra's homegirl.
Huh. I don't know. I can't see it right now. It should be illegal to be this beautiful. This is just fucked up.
Send Karen McDougal to jail.
Send all the pretty girls to jail.
Yeah,
It's crazy. This is crazy. I feel like a pervert because I just looking at all these pictures of her body. Like I'm just like, wow, so mesmerized.
And that's the same thing that happened to Trompito.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, he was mesmerized just like that. He told her, "I can't stop looking at pictures of your body."
I want your body.
Okay, so what the fuck?
I imagine that song is like sex song. You know what song I'm singing?
Yes, but
In excess.
yes, but
what?
But his sex song is definitely, it's got to be something more 80s than that. It's
Keep that shit in. They're not gonna sue us. Those fools are gone.
well, yeah, he's dead. He killed himself.
What? He did?
Michael Hutchins. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, May, no. I feel bad. I didn't know that. I'm so sorry.
He's on the list.
That's awful. Now I have to do that episode.
Yeah. So no, his sex song is definitely money, 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 money.
Oh, it is that one.
Mhm.
Money.
Yeah.
Money, 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 money.
Money.
So I wanted you to tell me what this means for Trumpito.
Okay, so he's been named as an unindicted co-conspirator in a crime that someone pled guilty to being instructed to do at his behest.
Right. And that person's now in jail.
Yes.
Or going to jail.
Right.
Was he in jail already? Is he out
No.
on bail?
No, he hasn't been to jail.
Okay, he hasn't started.
He hasn't started. You might be thinking of Paul Manafort.
Okay.
But yeah, so
so many of these motherfuckers in jail.
they're all in jail, dude. So anyway, if he weren't president right now, there's no doubt that he would be indicted on his way to jail, or at least like getting put on trial. However, because there's this belief that you may or may not be able to indict a sitting president, he's out in these streets putting babies in cages.
Yeah. Fucking Bill Clinton, like, this went up to the Supreme Court, a similar issue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about like the straight criminal, maybe because it's a criminal indictment.
Right.
His was criminal too.
No, well, the thing with Clinton was, the question was whether you could force
Him to go to court.
to testify.
Right.
And so then this is different. This is, can a president be charged with a crime?
This is amazing.
Or do you remember in Frost Nixon where Nixon goes, if the president does it, it's not illegal.
Shady ass motherfucker. This is amazing. This is a really weird time for our country.
Yeah, I know. And then it's crazy to think that we're living in an era that's going to be studied in history books.
Oh yeah, for
You know?
sure. Yeah. It's a fucking shit show. I read this article by this immigration attorney I like, Laura Rosenberg,
Mhm.
and she was talking about how Trump likes to villainize, especially like Central American and Mexican people,
Mm-hmm.
because they're the immigrants that, because Mexico shares a border with the United States, that's why there's like an influx,
Yeah.
Anyway, so she was talking about how like he and his group of whatever
His
paramours
Paramours.
how they all like to point the finger at immigrants, like they're the reason that there's problems with our economy and
Mhm.
problems with our country, when really it's him and his shitty friends.
Yeah.
It's like a form of like trying to psych out the under people, like this is just,
Right.
let's point our finger over here, because
Look over there.
yeah.
Yeah. No, for real. But yeah, so little in the big picture, little ass Michael Cohen is going to jail. However, like when Mike Flynn goes to jail, ooh, that'll be the
Ooh.
day.
Yeah.
Lock her up.
You think his daughter will go to jail?
No, I just think
No.
they're involved in some shady shit. Like
They're shady.
they're, yeah, but she's not. And not that I
Maybe her husband though, right?
Yeah, maybe Jared. He's shady as
Yeah.
fuck. He's selling influence to like the Chinese and stuff. Like,
The fuck?
yeah, he's
It's a weird vibe. It's a weird family.
yeah. They're not even like if they were attractive, they would be like the stars of like a primetime soap on ABC or something.
Oh yeah, totally. Man, I rewatched Casa de las Flores with my mom, and
Yes.
I was like really loving it at the end because I was like just picking up on stuff that I didn't pick up the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of it that is like very reminiscent of old school telenovelas.
Yeah.
But just done in a really great modern way.
Mm-hmm.
But like the maid, I love her character so much.
Oh, I love her too.
And I kept telling my mom, "Look, there's you," because she like they would be having conversations, and I would notice that she'd be in the background, like listening,
Yeah.
And I hadn't noticed that before. And that blind girl that buys the shop from them, yeah,
And she's all like Chanel'd out from head to toe.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like these little characters are so great.
Yeah. Are they gonna have a season 2?
Yeah, they are. They're signed on.
Dude, that's exactly it. Like if they were a more attractive family, they would be Casa de las Flores.
He would be as famous as he strived to be without needing to run for president.
Truth.
Because that's what he wants is like attention and fame and to be like a big shot, money and all that. Like if Ivanka was bomb as fuck and would have made it as a model, if Ivanka was Kylie Jenner, we would have never had this problem. For real.
Are you saying he would have been her dadager?
He would have been if he was Kris Jenner, we would she would never run for president.
Yo.
Fuck that. Low key, I respect Kris Jenner more than I respect this motherfucker.
Yeah, same, extremely same. And you'd rather have President Kris Jenner?
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Kylie Jenner up in the White House, secretly pregnant and shit. That's the fucking movie I want to see, made by
Sofia Coppola. What is Kylie Jenner's man's name?
Tyga? No, that's not it anymore.
No.
It's like Ty Dolla Sign.
Travis Scott.
There you go.
Travis Scott would be
Who the fuck is Ty Dolla Sign?
Wasn't that her other bae?
Oh, maybe.
Travis Scott would be like Secretary of the Interior because that's how the Trumps do it. Like they just put all their people all up in there.
That's
Kanye
awesome.
would be
gosh.
Secretary of State.
Kim Kardashian would be
Vice President.
Oh my god.
Chloe be Chief of Staff. Courtney don't want nothing to do with that shit. She'd be at home.
Shit. Courtney would be the first lady. Oh. That's the ticket.
Why do you suppose he does that? Doesn't he have any friends? Is it a good idea to have friends? Would it be more fun to have friends to play with?
All right, should I start?
Yeah, I'm ready for you to start because I don't know what you're doing. I'm excited.
Ooh. Well, last week I had started writing this because I thought I was going to have a heavy calendar this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of worried. I was thinking, should I tell May so that we don't do the same thing accidentally? And we couldn't have picked two people that are more different.
Okay.
Because as you all remember, May did Grace Kelly last week.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I was telling my mom, who's the Princess of Monaco? And she said, Stephanie. And I was like, no.
Yes.
And she was like, that's why I named you Stephanie.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what? Really? I didn't know that. And she was like, yeah, I liked that name when La Princesa Grace named her that. I really liked that name.
Hell yeah. Fun fact.
But she told me, like she's the fucking Princesa Rebelde or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Princess Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me that there were rumors that Grace Kelly and Stephanie were fighting in the car.
Oh, yeah.
When Grace Kelly got into the car accident.
That's possible because she was like, I think Stephanie was like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So that was interesting.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect my mom to have anything on that. So.
Hey.
All right. So anyway, yeah, this guy is not Grace Kelly. This is Chris Farley.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
For this topic, I watched the 2015 documentary I Am Chris Farley.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on anything. I had to buy it. I mean, I had to rent it.
Yeah.
There's so many good people on that though that are interviewed in regards to him. It's like Christina Applegate, Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris's brother, Molly Shannon, Dan Aykroyd. It's like so many people you want to hear from.
Wow. Yeah, that is the most 90s list you
Right?
could have ever said. That's really
Mike
cool, though.
Myers is on it too.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Some of my favorites on there, Christina Applegate and Molly Shannon.
Oh my gosh,
Man.
right?
Yeah.
All right. So Chris Farley was a comedian and actor born on February 15th, 1964 in Madison, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
His father owned an oil company and later an asphalt company, and his mother was a homemaker.
That sounds like money to me. Was he balling?
They were upper middle class.
Okay.
And they show like family films on the in
Mhm.
that documentary, and they seemed upper middle class.
Yeah.
He had 4 siblings, so there were 5 in total, and he
Mhm.
was the straight up middle child.
Okay.
His family is of Irish and Scottish descent, and they are very, very Catholic.
Wow. Okay.
And Chris Farley remained Catholic his entire life and attended Mass every Sunday throughout most of his life.
Dude, exactly like Grace Kelly. We're not so different, you and I.
Not so different after all. I mean, like, I think obviously later on he had issues and stuff, but enough people comment on it for it to have been like a normal thing. Like, oh, Chris is going to church.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he had a very Americana type upbringing, straight up like Wonder Years looking home movies.
Okay. That's what I was
Like-
picturing, like those like 8mm sort of.
Exactly,
Yeah.
May. Yeah, like, and like they look just like perfect cookie cutter American family.
Mm-hmm.
He liked comedy movies and comedians from a really young age, and over the summers he'd go to like summer camp and stuff. He
Mhm.
like all that stuff white people get to do.
Yeah.
You know what I did over the summer?
What?
Like watch TV and get fat.
I too, like in the summer I would get, I would wake up and I would turn on Nickelodeon.
Yep.
And, like,
Remember Stick Stickler?
Stickly.
Stick Stickler.
That's the Nickelodeon Boogie Nights crossover we never knew we needed. I would
Stickly.
I would get a big ass bowl, like a mixing bowl, and like pour myself like way too much cereal that wouldn't have been okay during the school year.
Right. Fucking Fruity Pebbles and
Hell
shit.
yeah.
Hell yeah. I used to love the summers, man. Nickelodeon would really fucking pop off for the summers.
It would totally be popping.
It would be the best time. Remember they would have like, there would be 1 hour during the day when Stickly would come on and they would fucking spin his ass to pick
Yes.
what was the next show that would come on.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'd always
yeah.
be like, please let it be all that. And it'd always be like, are you afraid of the dark? Fuck you, Stickly.
Hey, no, Are You Afraid of the Dark is some shit too. There's like 1 or 2 like really scary episodes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I'll watch it.
There's
I'll watch it. I remember when I was in college and I was working at Jumping Jacks,
yeah.
this guy that was like older than me. So I was probably like 18, 19 and he was probably like 21. I remember he was like, I started watching Camp on Awana. We love you in our
I didn't
hearts.
like that show, so I didn't really
What is
watch
that
it.
show called? And
I don't
when
know.
you think about us, you make us
Mhm.
want to fart.
Yeah. I don't like
He
that
started
show.
watching it and I was like, hey, how is it? You know,
Uh-huh,
'cause
yeah.
it's like fucking old. He was like, the same. The same. I was like, all right.
That was one show I didn't watch. I also didn't watch Pete and Pete. I didn't like that.
Oh, I didn't like Pete and Pete. Carlos and Jose did though.
Mm.
Mm. All right. So anyway, so this fool was at summer camps. And while he was at summer camps, he used to participate in theater and he loved getting on
Oh.
stage and performing for people.
Mm-hmm.
Of his childhood, Chris once recalled getting his first laugh as a 3rd grader in his hometown when a teacher leaned over his desk and Farley, quoting a popular shampoo commercial at the time, leaned into her and said, "Gee, your hair smells terrific."
That's funny. That's really funny.
It's funny. And he's like in 3rd grade. That shit was probably hilarious.
I remember when I made my teacher laugh. That was always the best. Like,
Yeah.
there was
yeah.
like one time we were talking about it was like history class, and we were talking about like medieval times and like the Hussites. And then I asked a question and I called them the Hussies for funsies. And she was like dying, and I was like, yes.
I love-
Mission
That's it.
accomplished.
I'm done for the
Yep,
day,
yep.
guys. I'm gonna do my best joke. All right, so all the kids, he said, laughed hysterically, and it was like a revelation to him.
Mm-hmm.
Chris said, quote, "I was overweight my whole life, and making people laugh was a great defense mechanism. I made them laugh before they could call me fatso."
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
I really like the word fatso, though.
That should have been the name of his documentary, Fatso.
True.
Story
My
of
brother
Chris
calls
Farley.
me fatso when I...
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does, because I'll complain about being fat, and then
Yeah.
he'll be like, "Okay, fatso."
That's funny.
Yeah, that's some older brother stuff. So his brother said Chris was always the entertainer, even like in their family. He was always the one. He said he would sing with his shirt off in the school bus. He would make fun of his brothers in front of the girls they liked. He'd drop his pants during class, and like he was just a little troublemaker and like, trying to make people laugh.
Uh-huh.
Chris went to a Catholic school and he played football in high school. He was kicked out of that school for one semester when, in an attempt to be funny, he dropped his pants and underwear during typing class, and a female classmate saw his little weenie.
Hashtag me too. Typing class. What? This was in the 80s or in the 70s?
This was in the 70s, maybe early 80s, because he was
Okay.
born 1964.
Okay, so it wasn't computers. It was like
No.
it was like
Typing.
It was a typewriter.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like, did you do Mavis Beacon? Or
yeah.
or Mario Teaches Typing? That was my favorite.
Yeah. After high school, Chris attended Marquette University.
Wow.
I know, where he graduated in 1986 with a degree in theater.
Uh-huh.
In college, he played rugby.
Uh-huh.
Chris and his rugby playmates said that they were all pretty heavy drinkers. Like, it was kind of the vibe with their rugby team.
Sure.
They'd go out and, like, fucking do their thing, and then they'd go get smashed at a bar.
Dude, get a whole bunch of college kids together, you know? Like,
Yeah, that's gonna
especially
happen.
especially like a team. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So Chris was an overweight person. There's no other way to say that. He was chubby as a kid, and it only got worse as he got older. And then he started drinking heavily, which didn't help. But he seemed to have pretty solid luck with college girls nonetheless, because he was so outgoing and funny, and
He's the life of the party.
people love this guy.
Yeah.
Like he's just so likable.
Yeah.
Chris's dad helped him out with a job right after college, according to his brother, quote, because he was unemployable by literally everybody else.
Gotta use that theater degree to sell some asphalt now.
But, well, dude, so Chris said that he was like such a good people person that he was actually a super good salesman.
Oh, I bet.
Like, he was super funny and likable. So, like, they'd send him out to like lunches and shit, and he'd close deals.
Yeah, I bet.
So Chris's dad was actually really impressed with him, and he was trying to groom him to take over their family asphalt company when his dad retired. Chris then started taking classes and performing at the Arc Improv Theater in Madison, Wisconsin. Everybody says that his stage presence and the power of his talent as soon as he got up there was really hard to deny. He was literally like larger than life, and his family and his friends and brothers, everybody would go to his little shows on the weekends, and they said like it was genuinely super funny. Like, he is our brother, but he had talent. Like, when he got up there, you watched him.
Yeah.
The owners of the Arc Improv Comedy Theater talk about how Chris left their group really quickly to try to get into Second City Improv in Chicago.
Oh, yeah. That seems like the logical step. If, like, you're the big fish in the small pond in Wisconsin,
Right.
time to go to Second City.
Yeah, so what they say is, like, Chris was great, and it's totally what you're saying. Like, he was the best one there. But they wish he would have stayed a bit longer with them, because he was always, like, a party guy. Like, it was kind of like this is his party trick to get people to like him and stuff. And they think he needed a little bit more time to learn and to turn it into a real craft.
Oh, yeah. I get that.
But I literally wrote exactly what you said. Big fish, little pond. So he took off.
Yeah.
So, and then this is where you start to see everything with Chris happen to him very, very fast. Too fast. And ultimately, it proved to be too much for him. So Chris took off to Chicago. And he literally posted out in front of Second City, trying to talk to whoever he could, trying to get in and get a part of the team. Then he met Del Close, who took a huge liking to him and wanted to work with him. He was then introduced to Mike Myers, and became part of the main stage cast almost immediately in
Mhm.
1989.
Wow.
So we're talking about he graduated college in 1986,
Yeah.
started improv like let's say 87,
Mhm.
and in 1989 he's main staging one of the most famous improv crews.
That's insane.
That's fucking insane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that just like talks to the level of talent he had.
Mhm. And also the politics, like people his people making, no, that's not the word I'm looking for. What not people making. Like he's closing deals because there's a lot of
Yeah.
people who are mad talented who aren't like main stage
Likeable.
without, greasing a few wheels,
Right. You got to have the sociability aspect
Yes,
to it.
yes.
You got to know how to kiss the right butts.
Yes,
and-
exactly.
Yeah, I get what you're saying with politics. Bus show. All right, so Del helped teach Chris how to use his talent and how to use his body comedy in a
Mhm.
better way because, he had a lot of that. He had a lot of body comedy.
Yeah.
He had a lot of body.
I've never heard him someone refer to it as body comedy. Physical comedy, right?
Hell yeah.
Body
Comedy.
comedy. You know what? I got a lot of body drama.
And I'm gonna say my man dude said this shit because I wrote that shit straight up as he said it. Okay, so Mike Myers said that when they first started working together on Second City, he was really scared to do improv on stage with Chris because this fool, like one time he was flailing his arms around being all wild and he knocked someone's tooth out.
No way.
Yeah, so he was like he was scared that he was gonna get hurt by him up there.
Yeah, fuck.
Because he'd go on there and he'd give it all he got. He didn't hold back.
Yeah.
And then along the same lines, Mike Myers and some of the Second City crew talk about how around this time they were all partying pretty hard together as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a kind of a party atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, for sure. After a show, it went really well or it didn't
You're
go
high.
well. And like,
Yeah.
Either way.
Could you imagine the high of getting on stage and making like 50 people laugh?
Right.
So Dan Aykroyd then talks about how Chris idolized Belushi a lot and tried to mirror him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris also talked about how his idols were kind of like the quote fat guy comedians.
Yeah.
Obviously because he felt like a connection to them.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Myers then got hired on for Saturday Night Live and he immediately recommended Chris Farley to Lorne Michaels. Lorne Michaels met Chris Farley and instantly hired him after watching him perform once.
Wow.
And brought him to New York City to join the cast of Saturday Night Live full-time along with Chris Rock in the spring of 1990.
What a sick cast. So we got Mike Myers, Chris Rock, Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Dana Carvey.
Yeah. Is Dan Aykroyd on?
No.
No, no. He's old school.
Yeah.
So again, like everything's moving crazy fast for Chris. Once
Mhm.
again, to recap, he graduated college in 86.
Yeah.
Second City 89. He was at Second City for 1 year and now he's a full-time cast member of SNL.
That's crazy.
It's so crazy.
Mhm.
Chris frequently collaborated with Chris Rock, Rob Schneider, and later Adam Sandler and David Spade.
Mhm.
This comedy crew began getting called the bad boys of SNL.
Mm. I don't when I think of Adam Sandler, I don't think bad boy,
Me either.
or Rob Schneider.
Oh, hell no. Adam Sandler's weird to me. Like, I don't think he's attractive,
Mhm.
but like, I always like the character he plays in his movies. Obviously, he makes himself like the star,
Mhm.
Yeah, and then so like he makes my confused. He makes my body confused.
That's body drama right there.
Mike Myers and everybody else on SNL had to write for themselves. And they all talked about how Chris wasn't a writer or a creator, but literally everything that everyone else wrote,
Mhm.
he could make 10 times better on stage.
That's what you want.
Yeah. So Mike Myers said that all the SNL writers at this time were all gunning for Chris to be the actor. And
Oh yeah.
he was the one they all wanted to try to win over.
Mhm.
Chris's family, obviously back in Wisconsin, was super scared because Chris had never even been to New York City when he went to apply for SNL. And now he was moving there full time away from his family and going to be on a live TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So they were all really worried about the intensity of it all, especially because he had always struggled with self-confidence and self-image.
Wait, so they weren't worried about like the partying?
No, not at this point.
Okay.
They were worried because Chris is really insecure, and like a lot of comedians, he hides behind his jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like what he said earlier, like, I want to make people laugh before they make fun of me.
Yeah.
You know, you want to win them to get on his side.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think his family is also really close. Like the way his brothers talk about him, even still, like, it just seems like they're like an old school Catholic family. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like they don't want him far anyways,
Yeah.
I think. So Chris's most famous characters on SNL were Matt Foley, an over-the-top motivational speaker who lived in a van down by the river.
That's one of those sketches is a really funny Christina Applegate one where she's like dying the whole time.
That's that one, man.
Yeah, that one's
it's
really
the Matt
funny.
Foley
Yeah.
one, yeah. And yeah, it's David Spade and Christina Applegate.
Yeah.
And they're interviewing her in that documentary, and she's talking about how, like, if you watch me, I'm just looking down because if I look at him, I know I'm going to lose it.
Yeah.
And you could see her trying to hold her laugh back and not look at that fool.
Yeah.
And then she says she has like one line, and she was like, I was trying so hard to land that line. And she does. She does a good job.
Good for her.
I know. She a pro, dude. Also, fun fact, the name Matt Foley is the name of Chris's hometown friend who lived in a van near a river.
No way.
During a hard time in his life. That guy, Matt Foley, later entered the seminary.
What?
And became a priest.
Down by the river.
And they interview him in the documentary, and he's like, I was really thankful for the legacy that Chris left me behind, and I think about him every day and stuff. It was really sweet.
God.
It was really sweet. He also was Chris was also a part of a sketch involving stereotypical Chicagoans who shouted, "Da Bears. Da Bears."
That's like literally the only thing I know about Chicago.
Yeah, me too.
The Bears and Oprah.
Frank Lloyd Wright and Oprah.
I think that's about it.
No,
really?
You wrapped it up in a nice little package right there. That's Chicago for you. Another one of his most famous ones is the Chippendales Dancers sketch with Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
And him as a host of the Chris Farley show, where he would almost always interview like the musical guest.
Uh-huh.
That one's really funny. The Chippendales sketch, I think everyone has seen, right? At some point in their life.
Yeah, everybody's seen that.
People always post that shit.
Just like picture, and if you haven't seen it, just picture Chris Farley in the Chippendales, like tie, cuffs.
Yeah.
And you got it. You got the gist of it.
That's about it. They were saying that he was like really nervous to do that one. He kind of didn't want to do it.
Oh, because of his
He's
body
insecure.
issues?
Yeah, he didn't want to take his shirt off and shit like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, do yourself a favor and watch the best of Chris Farley on Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah, where are those? Is that on Hulu? Like the best of?
Yeah, they're on Hulu. They're on. Some of them are on Amazon Prime. Chris's isn't.
Okay.
You have to rent it, but some of them are. But it's so good. Just like let the dumb high schooler in you come out. Adam Sandler and David Spade, who signed on to SNL later, said when they came on to do Saturday Night Live, Chris was the nicest person. He was super welcoming, and they instantly all clicked with him.
Cool.
Chris has a lot of self-deprecating humor, like I said, which people say is him being hard on himself.
Mm-hmm.
He would show off a lot and try to get hosts' attention in that kind of way. And he was getting a lot of girls at this time, which his castmates all say was because he had such a good heart.
Oh.
He was super nice to everybody. And on top of that, he was really funny and just like a genuinely nice person.
Mm-hmm.
Christina Applegate in the documentary talks about how he was infectious. Like you wanted to be around this person. And even she says, yeah, he's not your typical leading man, but you're attracted to him for whatever.
Really?
You know? Yeah. She's like, you want to be around him.
Okay.
So around this time, Chris started dating Victoria's Secret model Lori Badgley.
No way. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
And she's bomb, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris was also known for his pranks in the offices of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like pranks. Like, I don't fuck with that. I don't like how people try to make that cute about like George Clooney. Like, oh, look at this little prank he pulled on all his co-stars. I'm like, fuck you. Leave my food alone. Like,
Leave my shit alone.
Yeah, leave me alone.
Yeah, you do not like that shit. Yeah, leave me alone. No woman in history has ever said, George Clooney, leave me alone.
Unless your prank involves like
Yo, dick.
If your prank involves taking me roughly in a barn, then yes. If not,
that's funny.
Leave me alone.
So Adam Sandler and Chris Farley would make late night prank phone calls. I like prank phone calls. I think that's like a harmless prank.
Yeah, it's harmless. I still don't like it too, though. Like, quit playing on my phone.
Oh my god, I'm gonna pull a prank on you. This is awesome. It's so funny, Meg. You're like a 50-year-old dad.
I'm so grumpy about pranks.
Adam Sandler said he would speak in an old woman's voice and Chris Farley would fart into the phone.
The OG kissed me through the phone.
Chris Farley would moon other cars from limousines and from like their office windows. Once, when the entire crew was bored and unmotivated, Jay Moore offered Chris $100 to poop out of the 17th floor window at 30 Rock.
No.
Chris Farley took the money and he did it, but allegedly the poop didn't make it outside the window and it came back inside their office.
Wait, what? How?
I don't know. Like, he was leaning his butt out of the window to try to poop, but I don't know what happened. Maybe when he pushed, he like angled it weird.
No. See, I thought you were going to explain some sort of phenomena of physics, like where there was like a vortex because of like the height of the building versus like the wind speed.
Maybe he got scared and he put his butt back inside. I would not put my butt outside a 17th floor window. That's scary.
What's the highest floor you would put your butt out of?
Maybe like 3rd. I'm a baby, babe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do.
That's like, you guys don't know this about us, but that's like 10 years of me being frustrated with my babiness. And she's like,
I would do a minimum of 17th floor to take my butt out of a window.
Damn, you crazy.
Anything below that is just not worth my time.
Chris was also known to like get naked.
Yeah, okay.
Just like in front of them and they would all laugh.
But I thought he was self-conscious about his body.
Yeah, but maybe not to his friends. Like, I'm self-conscious about my body, but I'd be naked around you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Chris Rock once claimed that he probably saw Chris Farley's private parts more than Farley's girlfriend did.
Oh.
Adam Sandler told Conan O'Brien on The Tonight Show that NBC fired him and Chris Farley from the show in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Chris was eating, just side note, Chris was eating a lot once he took off with his SNL fame.
Yeah.
And I don't like to shame people about this because I'm a chubby girl and I love food. More than that, I really love going to restaurants. So
yeah.
Overpriced restaurants are my guilty pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people comment on how Chris loved to eat and like it was a problem for him.
Well, like you said, imagine like you lived in Wisconsin. What do they have? Cheese?
Yeah,
like,
hell yeah.
That's it. Like,
yeah.
And now you move to like now you're living in a big ass city where
New
you can
York
have
City.
Anything you want at any time of day.
And like the best of anything you want.
Yeah. I feel you, Chris. No shame.
Yeah. But it was like low key unhealthy.
Okay.
So they talk about if they'd all go out to restaurants, he would double down. Like literally, if he got a steak, he was getting 2 steaks.
Dude, I used to do that too.
You would do shit like that.
As like when I was a teenager, I would eat like that, and then like I just grew out of it. But I feel him.
And then also, like, if he got appetizers, he'd get 2 orders of whatever the fuck. And they said that he would eat with his hands and shit. This one just loved eating.
I respect it.
Conan O'Brien said, quote, Chris Farley loved to eat to a degree I've never seen any human being.
Wow.
And then, like we know, Chris was a drinker. He liked to drink, and he started maybe abusing alcohol around this time.
Yeah.
And sometime early in his career, he began to elicit drugs as well, illegal drugs.
Oh, no.
People don't talk, like, Chris's friends don't talk about it, like, really.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's all I'll say about that for now.
If you've ever seen any, like, documentary about the backstage workings of SNL or read any article about it, like a real in-depth article, their schedule is insane.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. They're running on little to no sleep. They're if and when they do sleep, sometimes they're sleeping in their offices, under their desks.
Yeah.
They're writing for the whole week. It's crazy. So honestly, like, I can see how someone can maybe start taking some drugs to, like, try to stay awake or try to go to sleep, and then, like,
yeah, because you're not taking care of yourself in a natural way, so you're gonna go to unnatural things to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, me and my coworkers will make fun sometimes when it's like, oh, I got a headache, oh no, it's like, I'm tired, gotta drink more coffee, now I got a headache, gonna take Tylenol. You know what I mean? Like, you just start to, like, cover your shit up,
right,
when really all you need to do is, like, lay down and drink some water.
Exactly. So like, I can totally see how, especially someone with like an addictive personality, like he clearly has with food, how something like that can just be the wrong place
environment
for him. Yeah.
Totally. So he did everything to excess. He was loud to excess. He was kind to excess.
Mm-hmm.
He was a performer to excess. And he also drank and ate and did drugs to excess.
Mm-hmm.
Chris also believed that being a little faded helped his act. Lorne Michaels said he tried to get it. Lorne Michaels says it a lot, like referring
the drug
to
use?
Chris's drug use.
Yeah.
So Lorne Michaels says, I tried to get it to calm down while he was at SNL. I always tried to talk to him about it. We would take breaks because of it. Chris would, not be on so many scenes because of it.
Yeah.
So, once his fame took off, I think it became harder for Chris to deal with just everything. Living in a city away from your family, which is all you've ever known. Now you're famous. That's hard to deal with. You're on this show. There's a lot of pressure there.
Mm-hmm.
So he tried to be funny even when he wasn't performing. Because, like I said, that's the way that...
exhausting.
It's fucking exhausting. He tried to impress everybody in the room. That's the way that he thought people liked him.
Yeah.
But no, it's so exhausting. Even, like, low key, okay? Like, I'm not a comedian by any means, but people will say that I'm funny. And then I hate the pressure when somebody introduces me as like, oh, this is my friend Stephanie. She's funny.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, fuck, now I feel like I better fucking say something funny. Cause if I don't,
Yeah, for real.
So could you imagine, like, living with that 100% of the day?
No way. Especially if you're using it as a crutch for all of these insecurities and stuff. And oh yeah. No way.
Is it crutch? I feel like I say clutch. It's a clutch.
That doesn't make any sense though.
Like a little bag that, like, it's something small that you keep with all your private belongings to make you feel good.
It's something that props you up. That to help you because of this thing that you're lacking.
Fuck you, man.
A clutch. And also when you were like, I thought it was a clutch, I thought you meant like a
car clutch?
A car clutch. And I was like, what? It's a pedal.
And then it got even worse. So Lorne Michaels suspended Chris from Saturday Night Live several times while he was there. Chris's manager also personally sent Chris Farley to rehab several times on the off season. His manager, who also personally managed John Belushi, said that Farley was able to deceive a lot of people to the extent of his abuse in order to avoid rehab, which is a thing that a lot of addicts end up being able to do.
I read that about Mel Gibson when people are like, how did it get this bad. And then one of his friends told Vanity Fair, like, that's what addicts do. They are deceptive and manipulative, and over the course of like decades, he found a way to like hide this from people.
Of course, yeah, for sure. So every time he came back from rehab, everyone says that Chris was always super positive and determined to stay sober and make it work. David Spade and Chris Farley shared an office together at SNL. And David had to write all his own stuff, but Chris didn't. Chris Rock and Adam Sandler were in the office directly behind them, and they both had to write their own stuff also. David said that Chris Rock and Adam Sandler would like be working really hard, while David would be in his office just trying to get Chris to stop fucking bothering him.
Oh no. I bet that was fun for a little while, but I bet sometimes he was kind of like, fuck.
It's super annoying, yeah. They all say that Chris would try to help as much as possible. He'd give ideas and he'd act everything out for them. And they knew that if they could make Chris laugh, it was going to be good.
Okay.
So he was still helpful. He would still try. Chris spent a lot of time working with St. Jude's Hospital, and he'd go to all the children's hospitals to try to make kids laugh on his off time.
Yeah.
He was like I said, he was really Catholic in like kind of like the best way of Catholicism, like all the good shit.
Yeah.
I like my Catholics to be a little low key heroin addicts.
You know what? He was probably really good at that, like because of his physical humor and stuff with little kids. Like they love that.
Yeah, totally. And like farting and mooning. Little kids love stuff like that.
And pooping out 17-story windows.
Then Mike Myers began shooting Wayne's World, and he had Chris do a small part in it. So then Chris started breaking out into movies, kind of just through his own connections in SNL.
Yeah.
He appeared in Wayne's World, Coneheads, Airheads, Billy Madison, all while he was still a member of SNL. Their bad boy of comedy crew all loved him, and they were all writing these movies, so they all would include Chris. Chris and David were best friends. Lauren said that they were perfect yin and yang. Perfect compliments.
They were even like, they look like that too, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and their castmates said that they were like in love with each other. Like they would get into fights and then they'd stop talking to each other for like a day. Like they were like a little married couple.
Yeah.
So at this time, Chris is flying back and forth between movie shoots and NYC doing SNL. So he's getting a little bit of wear and tear from the crazy schedule like May was talking about, because he's working pretty hard.
Yeah.
Hollywood was pulling him in really strong, and so he let SNL go at the end of his contract. But Adam Sandler said they got fired, so I don't know about that.
I've heard they got fired too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because it was like a big controversy, like that Lorne was firing like some of their most popular dudes. You know?
Lorne Michaels be making some moves.
Yeah.
I wonder... Well, anyways. Like, I wonder what that's about. Like, his ego...
Maybe, or maybe he just wanted to take the show in a different direction.
Maybe. I mean, it's always worked out.
He's under a lot of pressure. And people, and no one's ever happy about that show. Someone's always talking shit.
Complaining. Yeah, for sure. But that shit's anyways. Okay, so, and then in the documentary, everybody talks about how hard it is to leave SNL.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, no way that this is ending. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do with my life now? So he left his comfort zone, his little home of SNL, and he wasn't the most grounded person when he did that. And the routine of the show, the cast, and everything that kind of was grounding him more than we all saw was kind of like now gone. Because he lost that family atmosphere.
We hear a lot about that with Britney and stuff. Like,
oh, really?
Like that she needs to do the show. Like she needs to be working.
Oh. Because she needs like that routine.
Yes, that structure. It doesn't matter. Like, or I mean, I'm sure it does matter that it's such hard work, and but the point is,
that's the only work she knows, anyways.
Yeah, true.
Like, what is she gonna go do?
Right, but she needs to have that structure, or else, like, who knows?
It all falls apart.
Yeah,
it's hard. Like when people have problems like that, anything to stop that shit from tipping over.
Yeah.
So after leaving SNL in 1995, Chris Farley began to shift his attention into a film career. And his first 2 films were starring alongside his best friend David Spade, Tommy Boy and Black Sheep.
Mm-hmm.
They were both hits at the box office, earning around $32 million. However, the reviews for Tommy Boy initially were very bad, and Chris took this really seriously to heart because he had been working really hard on that film and on himself during filming because he was sober during this time.
Oh no.
So he like really struggled with the reviews that came out about it.
Yeah. And he thought he wasn't funny unless he was like
a little
high.
faded, yeah.
Oh god. Okay.
But it ended up being a huge cult classic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder how that feels.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want it to be
But also
a hit.
Did he even live to see the cult classic status of it though?
I don't think so.
You know?
That's true. But the shows did establish Chris as a bankable star, and then he was given the title role of Beverly Hills Ninja.
Oh,
However, his drug and alcohol abuse started to interfere with his film work around this time.
Oh no.
His final film, Almost Heroes, was postponed several times to have him enter rehab. His girlfriend Lori then broke up with him around this time because his disease was getting worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
Then when he did Black Sheep, the other one with David Spade, Chris relapsed on the night of the premiere.
Oh, fuck.
Because the movie was shown to critics and they were getting horrible reviews.
Oh, no.
Also, just hindsight, he was earning an estimated $6 to $10 million a film around this time.
No way.
Yeah, because they weren't getting good reviews by the critics, but people were still going to watch his movies.
Yeah.
So they were still like profiting.
And also, this was around the time where like stars started making huge paychecks.
Money.
Like Jim Carrey, wasn't he making like $20 million in a movie? And
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, that fool, he needs an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the NT stuff on him?
No.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen his paintings?
Yeah. It's weird. That's a vibe. So after the Black Sheep premiere, Chris went on a bender for 2 weeks and then he went back into rehab. In total, Chris went to rehab 17 times throughout his life.
No way.
Yeah. He was an addict and he was in deep. His friends all talk about how they could always tell when he was on drugs, like when he would come to set and they could see it in his eyes and they would just hate it, like, and they didn't know how to talk about it, like, because when he was sober, they said he was the best person. He was like, on his game and super sweet and everything. And Lauren said he would always hear about it. He'd hear about when he was in trouble. So on October 25th, 1997, Lauren had Chris come back to host the show.
Oh.
Which I think is kind of nice.
That is really nice. Wow.
After the guest appearance on SNL on October 25th, 1997, there was a visible decline in Farley's health. His hoarse voice and flushed skin were the subject of a lot of public scrutiny following that appearance. And he even looked a little like more swollen around this time. Another thing, so also just keep in mind, like, we're talking about somebody who's abusing alcohol, abusing drugs, and who's also very overweight. So this is really bad for his heart.
That's the perfect storm.
I know. On December 6th, 2007, Chris showed up. I'm sorry. December 6th, 1997. Chris showed up very drunk to a cheesecake factory in Chicago at 3 in the afternoon with several models.
Haven't we all?
He couldn't find his way back to his own table after getting up for the restroom. He was extremely jovial and obnoxious, according to fellow patrons of the Cheesecake Factory.
Again, haven't we all? Have you ever had the Georgia peach at the Cheesecake Factory? That shit
You
is
love
good.
that drink. You love that drink. He went into rehab again at Hazelden Rehabilitation Center in Minneapolis, but left after one night. He made it home on December 11th, 1997, and his friends were worried about his quick return. He spent the next few days going to Catholic Mass, baking cookies, and presumably getting high. He bought an overpriced Christmas tree and attended some Alcohol Anonymous meetings.
And how do we know the tree was overpriced? What the fuck?
I got that somewhere, dude. And I didn't question it at all.
He also bought some toilet paper. It was on sale.
According to friends, Chris began a downward spiral on December 14th, 1997. He went to Chicago bar after bar, consuming large quantities of drugs and alcohol and hanging out with a lot of partiers, like frat people and like
the Bears.
Yeah, some model types. He started at the Chicago Club Karma, and then he would go to his apartment. On December 15th, he attended Second City's anniversary party where people said he was super schwasty. Then he went on a pub crawl after the party.
What the fuck? It must have been cold as fuck. It was Chicago in December.
Fuck yeah.
You went on a pub crawl?
On December 16th, so the next day, a call girl said that she spent the afternoon with Chris after he called at 8:30 a.m. for an appointment with her.
That is so early.
And she said that when she got there, he was high and drinking screwdrivers and, quote, he was more interested in partying, cocaine, than any of my services. And you could tell that this man was on a rampage.
Whoa.
On December 18th, 1997, Chris Farley was found dead by his brother, John, in his apartment in Chicago. John called 911 at 2 p.m. after finding his brother in pajamas on the floor of his apartment unresponsive. Blood was coming out of his nose and foam from his mouth, immediately indicating a drug overdose.
Oh my God.
Chris was 33 years old.
Wow.
An autopsy revealed that he died of overdose of cocaine and morphine, known as a speedball. Advanced, I'm going to mess this up, atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis was a significant contributing factor, which is narrowing of the arteries around his heart.
Mm-hmm.
Prozac was also in his system, but that did not contribute to his death.
Mm-hmm.
But, no alcohol was found in his system.
Mm. Maybe the Prozac might have contributed to his judgment or lack thereof.
Maybe that's true. His death is often compared to that of SNL idol John Belushi, who died of the same cause at the same age.
That's wild.
At the time of his death, Chris weighed 296 pounds and was 5'8".
Wow.
The night his death hit the news, Second City in Chicago was packed, even outside, to mourn Chris's death. A private funeral was held for Chris Farley on December 23rd, 1997 at Our Lady Queen of Peace Catholic Church in his hometown of Madison, Wisconsin. Over 500 guests were in attendance, including Dan Aykroyd, John Goodman, Lorne Michaels, Adam Sandler. Chris's best friend, David Spade, did not attend his funeral, stating years and years later in a Reddit AMA, quote, "I think about him all the time, every day. We had such a good time for so long, and we were crammed together for so long that we did have our squabbles, but I think people misunderstood me not going to that funeral. It was nothing about that. It was just too emotional, and I wasn't able to handle it. But I still hear songs of all things. I know it sounds stupid, but there's songs that I hear and they remind me of him."
Oh. I mean, I get where he's coming from. That's like a really hard, that's your best friend,
Oh, yeah. There's no way. How are you supposed to say goodbye?
Right. Fuck. You know what's crazy? This episode is going to come out like almost on the exact anniversary.
Oh my gosh, May, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
The movies Almost Heroes and Dirty Work were released posthumously in 1998. Farley had also been cast as the title character in the movie Shrek, but died just before his recording was finished.
I've always wanted to hear the original Shrek recording.
You can hear part of them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're out.
Okay.
Reports say that he had recorded about 85 to 95% of the film, which this trips me out. I thought Shrek came out much later.
It did, but you know how long it takes for those movies to be made?
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
The filmmakers felt that even though they could kind of finish with what they had with him, it would be in bad taste. So they recorded Shrek's dialogue with Mike Myers. In 2015, a story reel featuring Chris Farley as Shrek was released to the public. That's the one I was talking about. Farley was also supposed to star in a biographical film about comedian Fatty Arbuckle with co-star Vince Vaughn, but that fell through after his death.
I would watch that. That sounds
I would
good.
also, yeah.
Fatty Arbuckle is he has one of like the earliest Hollywood scandals. I'm gonna do that one day.
He's on our list, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Farley was also supposed to play the title role in a television series based on the books Captain Underpants, which was then discarded following his death.
That was eventually released, right?
I think so.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. People feel differently about Chris Farley because he was an addict and he lived this kind of fast lifestyle, and people like to turn their noses up about that kind of shit. But I think overall, everyone agrees that he was super nice. He was complicated. He was insecure. And he turned out to be a comedy legend.
Yeah.
He was so funny. He's like laugh out loud funny, seriously. And
I bet like if he was like at your party or something, like,
oh my God.
Like people would be like, "Oh, Chris is here.
Thank God."
Yeah.
Let's all get fucking wasted.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you're like just made people laugh, I think if that's part of your legacy, then you did all right. So R.I.P. to my dude Chris Farley.
R.I.P. Man. Gone too soon, dude.
Gone way too soon. In that documentary, also Adam Sandler and like Mike Myers talk about how it's like, what do you mean he's dead? He's 33.
Yeah.
We don't die at 33.
Right. Ugh.
That's so awful.
That's also crazy because he seems young to me, but Belushi didn't. Belushi seemed much older, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Was he famous for longer?
I don't know. I don't think so. Do you think like, not that you should ever stop trying to get sober, like whatever it takes, but I bet like he went to rehab 17 times. I bet like time 12, 13, 14. I wonder if that was even anything, you know?
Yeah. It's just a wash at that point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you talk about? All your relapsing?
Right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, I don't know, if you're even taking it seriously at that point.
Yeah. It's just kind of like become part of your routine.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
okay.
That's
Gotta
it.
go to rehab now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it sticks for somebody at time 18, 20, 21.
That's true. Totally. I mean, don't stop going.
Yeah. Well, guys, that was a bummer for to close out the year.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We'll be taking
a break next week.
Yeah.
You won't have a new episode from us until January 3rd.
Yeah, so new year, new us, new
hey,
you.
Same shitty me. New year, same shitty me. What's up?
And yeah, hope you have a good year and we'll miss you.
Hit us up on Twitter and Insta at Drama Club Pod. Hit us up on our Gmail, dramaclubpod@gmail.com.
On our website at dramaclubpod.com. On the hotline, 505-539-0556. If you want to leave us Christmas messages there.
Bye.
Bye.
However, whatever with your helmet.